So a couple days ago, I said if Intel stock ticker symbol INTC could not stay above $24.77, then look for a pullback to $24. And if that level breaks, then look for a further pullback to $22.90. Take a listen. So current support for Intel is at $24.77. If the stock cannot stay above this level, then look for a 5% pullback to $24. And if that level breaks, then look for a further pullback to $22.90. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of 9%. So looking at the current chart, you guys can see that the buyers failed to keep the stock above $24.77. And that resulted in a move down to support at $24, which the buyers also failed to defend. And as a result, the stock did end up pulling back further to $22.90. So once again, you guys can see that my analysis was 100% accurate. Now, in that same video, I was also able to predict the price action for Palantir stock, ticker symbol PLTR. And I said if the stock could not stay above 153, then look for a pullback to 150. And if that level breaks, then look for a further pullback to 147. Take a listen. So current support for Palantir is going to be at 153. And if that level breaks, then look for a pullback to 150. Now, if 150 fails to hold as support, then look for a further pullback to 147. And from today's closing price, that would be a pullback of 6%. So looking at the current chart, you guys can see that Palantir did fail to stay above 153 and did end up pulling back to 150 and 147. Now, after the Jackson Hole speech, RBC Capital says that the Fed is biased towards cutting interest rates. Take a listen.
Going into the speech, you were close to around 80% for a probability of a cut in September. Yeah. That's moved up to 85, 86% to the time we're having this conversation.
Francis, it's not 100%.
It's not. And listen, I want to be as cheery as markets are today, no question, but we've seen enough evidence from PPI statistics and prices paid statistics that there is tariff inflation coming. I think of it like the tariff Titanic has already hit the inflation iceberg. It's just the band still playing and it hasn't sunk yet. But that moment is coming for the American economy. Core inflation is going to end the year above 3%. And not just because of tariffs, but because there's also inflation on the services side. So Chair Powell might want that door to be open towards a rate cut in September, but I don't think the inflation data is going to allow him to walk through it.
You just made a really good case for a rate hike, or as I called it a couple days ago, Jackson hold, because you're making the case, Powell's making the case with tariffs and inflation for not cutting rates, and yet the market is yay, rate cuts.
Well, listen, we're used to that dual mandate moving in the same direction and making that easy, but this isn't easy for the Federal Reserve because they're concerned about labor market. But I might say they might not need to be as concerned about that as they're expressing in this speech via Jackson Hole. The unemployment rate is at 4.2%, exactly where it was a year ago, Brian. So yes, there is a slowdown happening, but Chair Powell himself admitted that there are supply side factors that mean we don't need as much job growth as we did before. So when I listen to this speech, I'm wondering, Chair Powell, what problem are you trying to solve right now? Are you trying to prevent one? And what are the risks right now to this market, to the economy, of moving too early, too quickly versus reacting maybe a little bit later?
I am listen, the markets are going up. People our audience watching and listening, maybe stuck in traffic somewhere, making money today. We like that. Schwab's customers making a lot of money today.
Yeah.
That said, next week, I think it's next week, don't we get the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, yield PCE? What happens, Francis, if that number comes in hot next week? Does all this exuberance go away?
Well, all of it, no, but that door that we said is open, well, maybe it starts squeaking shut a little bit. We get a lot of inflation data before that next meeting, PCE, CPI, PPI. But what I find so strange about this is we're all waiting for inflation to show up in the consumer side. But any economist is going to tell you that if tariff inflation is coming, it's showing up in PPI, producer prices, prices paid first, and that's already happened. We're not waiting for that effect to come through. This is why Chair Powell today said we know tariff inflation is coming through, but this is a Federal Reserve that can choose to say we expect that to be, they're not going to say transitory, Brian.
Yeah, don't say that.
They're going to say one-off. They can say we're going to choose to look at it differently, and they can use all measures of inflation if they want to cut. They can say we're looking at CPI X 400 items that exist within it, and therefore that gives us some ability to do it. So this is a Federal Reserve where even if we believe the data is going in this direction, and the three of us here think the Fed should do one thing, we also have to listen to what their bias is, and their bias is clearly they want to cut.
Going into the rest of the video, I have some important levels for you guys guys to watch on ticker symbol TSLA Tesla, SOFI ticker symbol SOFI, and ticker symbol BBAI. Let's go ahead and begin with Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. So during the market's last trading session, Tesla stock was up 6.2% and is now attempting to get above resistance at 340. If the stock can break and stay above this level, then I want you guys to look for a 9% run to 373. And if buyers can break and stay above 373, then look for a run to 415. And from current price, we're looking at an increase of 22%. Overall, to the upside, my price target for Tesla remains at 494, and we're looking at a return of 45%. Now let's take a look to the downside. So if Tesla stock fails to get above 340, then look for a 8% pullback to 310. If that level breaks, then look for a pullback to 298. And if 298 failed to hold as support, then look for a further pullback to 286. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of 15%. The next stock is SOFI Technologies, ticker symbol SOFI. So during the market's last trading session, SOFI was up over 7% and is currently breaking above resistance at 24.30. If the stock can stay above this level, then look for a continuation at 25.73. And if the stock can break above 25.73 and use that level as support, then look for a run to 27.33. And from current price, we're looking at a return of over 9%. Now to the downside, if SOFI cannot stay above current support at 24.30, then look for a 6% pullback to 23.44. And if that level breaks, then look for a further pullback to 22.38. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of 10%. Let's now take a look at ticker symbol BBAI. So current support for the stock is going to be at 524. If buyers cannot keep the price above this level, then look for a 11% pullback to 486. And if that level breaks, then look for a further pullback to 455. And from current price, we're looking at a decline of 17%. Now to the upside, if BBAI can stay above current support at 524, then I want you guys to look for a 7% continuation to 594. And if the stock can get above 594, then look for a run to 660. And from current price, we're looking at a return of 20%. Overall, to the upside, a measurement of this bull flag should take the stock up to my price target at 729. And from current price, we're looking at a return of 32%. Alright guys, so going into the rest of the week, I will continue to review some of the stocks that you guys are asking about. With that said, if you like today's video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. And if you're watching and you're not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.